This is the 2025 Subaru WRX TX. It is a WRX that went to the track, and it's also the Subaru's way of saying we couldn't afford making an STI, so we're giving you this. And then we have the 2025 Acura Integra Type S. This is a Civic Type R with the suits and lots of luxury touches on the inside, also more money. And this one is my 2018 limited edition Ford Focus RS, and it's perfect. That's it, we're done. Good day.
Not so fast. Just because it's my car doesn't mean I'm going to let it win by default. Today we're putting all three head to hand for grip, power, feel, and fun. And we'll see which one actually earns the crown.
So how much do these cars cost and what do they offer? Let's start first with this. The WRX TS. This is their way of saying that we couldn't really work on a proper STI, so you're stuck with this. I don't really hate it. What I don't like about it is the price. This thing is $47,000 Canadian. In the US, you're looking at $45,000, which with conversion makes it more expensive in the US than Canada. But with the TS, they've added some performance package. First, we've got the calipers, which are painted in gold. These are big brake calipers in the front, same thing in the back. It's got pretty standard wheels to the WRX that you see currently. The overall design, it's mixed feelings about this car. Like, we've got the cladding all around. The diffuser in the back looks too aggressive for the amount of horsepower this thing makes. It's got a quad exhaust system that sounds like crap. They could have at least added a performance exhaust on this car. They didn't. It's got the TS badge in the back, so people know this is not just a standard WRX, although looking at from here, it looks pretty much like a normal WRX. And then you move on to the front, you've got this hood scoop to give it a rally design, which this is not by any means. And then we've got the WRX badge, which is bright red, glossy finish front, and that's about it. A little bit overpriced in my opinion. And then we've got the Integra Type S. Now, on the outsides, 90% of this car is perfect. It's just that when I look at the rear end without the wing of the Civic Type R, takes some time to get used to it, but you've got the same exhaust design as the Civic Type R, well, similar to that. You've got red painted calipers, really nice wheels, and I love it in this blue color. Really nice touch. This thing, it's just perfect, but it will cost you. In Canada, this starts at about $58,000, which is actually more expensive than this by $10,000. And then in the US, you're looking at about $51,000. And then we have my Ford Focus RS, which again, it's not perfect. And I will start first with the paint. The paint on this car, it's fading a little bit. And if out of all the paint choices that Ford offered, this is my favorite. It's the press color they chose when they introduced the Focus RS. But this one for the limited edition's got the black roof at the top, black spoiler, black mirrors on the outside. So you'll notice the limited edition model. Now, the disappointing part about that roof is that I thought it was painted, but it's actually just like a thin wrap to make it look black. I find it a little bit cheapy from Ford and cheeky at the same time. But just the way this thing looks, it's perfect. Jumping into the WRX TS, they have taken the time to make this thing different than the standard model. But before we do that, let's start the car by pressing the red giant button that says STI. I don't know why they do that, but sure, this is not an STI. We started up, And then you realize what's different here. First, we've got a full digital screen with the SDI badge. I don't know why they're doing that, but sure enough, there is this massive tablet in the center, which feels like it was designed by someone that really doesn't want to have fun with cars and just wants a daily car. It is fully touchscreen, which maybe some people enjoy that because they want to be different than everybody else. Then we've got this beautiful blue stitching. It also has Recaro seats, which are kind of similar to the ones on my Ford Focus RS. The only difference is that they've got the WRX TS badge at the top and the Recaro in the center. So they've taken the time to add a few more badges or signs to tell you that this is a TS. We've got this beautiful blue finish in the center. It has TS mats, so that makes it even more special, so that way they can charge you more money. And then we've got the aluminum finish pedals at the bottom. There's this nice steering wheel, which is interesting, flat button. You've got different driving modes, Sport mode, Sport Plus, and when you turn off traction, it goes into track mode. The digital screen offers you quite a lot of information. There's no wireless charging pad with this, but there is a 6-speed manual transmission, which is quite nice. I actually like this transmission. There's a proper handbrake manual, which I appreciate. The armrest is painted in blue. The door panels are painted in blue as well as a blue leather. Same thing in the back. We've got the rear seats. We also have heated seats in the back. Overall, this thing looks a little bit better than the standard WRX. But then again, you're paying 47 grand. So out of the dealership, you're looking at like $50,000+. Nothing crazy. Into the Acura. Let's start it up because it is boiling outside. The person that designed the interior of this car wanted to make it look different to the Civic Type R, and they tried really hard. But it still looks like a Civic Type R in some way, but it has some premium features, which you have to appreciate. The first thing is that this comes with ELS Studio 3D audio system, which is really, really good. There's Type S badges everywhere to make sure that you know you're not in a Civic Type R, like the headrest, for example, the plate that holds the gear lever. In this case, we've got a Type S badge on to the steering wheel. There's no flat button steering wheel. There is a semi-digital screen here for the cluster. There's also a heads-up display, but there's no 360 camera. There's no sunroof. Another thing with the WRX you don't get with that package is a sunroof because they wanted to save some weight. And you only get 2 seats in the back with cup holders in the middle, because why would you want to carry 5 seats in it? Why would you want to carry 5 passengers in this car? The interior is questionable choice for me. This thing will get filthy before you even step in. I don't know who decided that. The disappointing part is that unlike the WRX, there's no heated seats in this car. Like, we expect a bit of premium. Come on, Acura. And it's also a lot more money than the WRX. But is it more fun? That's a question we're going to answer later. The screen in the center, it's similar to the Civic Type R. It's got some cool designs, but it's not as advanced as the Civic Type R, which offers you sort of like a telemetrics, something you don't get with this one, which kind of shocked me for the Integra Type S. They try to keep this as premium looking and feeling like. The interior is quite nice. It's spacious. It feels a bit premium. The touches, the leather. It's got the mix between suede Alcantara and leather in the seats. And you've got these nice rubber mats with the Type S badge. So overall, it's pretty standard, but a bit of that premium feel. Into the Focus RS. Let me start it up first. It still has a start button. And there we go. We've got a digital screen in here. There's analog cluster. Well, semi. It offers a small screen in the center, but the overall cluster, it is analog. There's a lot of analog bars at the top. So you've got your pressure, your turbo, oil pressure, and so on, and a nice carbon fiber finish. But the interior of the Focus RS feels like they did everything else great, and they jumped inside and they looked at the interior and they said, okay, we've got drift mode, we're done, let's go. That's how this feels, in my opinion. It's got nice Recaro seats. They're cushy. You've got the RS badge. I would have preferred the European version because these things are too bulky, and I feel like I could save like 50 pounds by replacing these with the Europeans, which are a lot skinnier. But they cost a lot of money for me to import, so I'm not going to bother. We're okay with what we have. It's got some carbon fiber bits with this package, like the door handles, something you don't see in the other cars. They don't offer that. The actual handbrake has carbon fiber. The shift knob, it's been replaced from the original, which is not carbon fiber. And then I did the steering wheel myself, because the steering wheel of this thing is so slippery that I don't like it at all. But you still get tech features. You've got Apple CarPlay, which is only through the USB ports. There is a backup camera in this car. There's a built-in maps, which is probably outdated by now. There is heated seats in the front, nothing in the back. And there's some space to put cups and maybe your phone. But compared to the Acura, this thing feels not the highest quality. I will admit, this is one of the things I don't like about this car. The interior feels like it was a last thought. They didn't really work too hard on the interior. They just made some changes and they said, there you go, we're done. But compared to the other two, I do have a sunroof, something that those two don't offer, but that also means that it adds a bit of weight, which I'm okay with it. Under the hood, the WRX TS uses a 2.4 liter flat 4 turbocharged engine. This one makes about 271 brake horsepower. For the TS package, you get tuned suspension system, better braking, better steering, lots of added features just to this trim. But this, it's a 6-speed manual transmission and it's all-wheel drive with a curb weight of about 3,400 pounds because it is all-wheel drive. So it weighs a little bit more. And the next one, we've got the Integra Type S, which uses, in this case, a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine. This one makes about 320 brake horsepower, which is actually more than the Civic Type R. It is a 6-speed manual transmission, but it's front-wheel drive, which also means that this one only weighs about 3,200 pounds. Love this thing. And then the last but not least is the Ford Focus RS. This one uses a 2.3-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine, makes 350 brake horsepower and 350 torque, equipped with a 6-speed manual transmission. It is all-wheel drive. It has a limited slip differential in the front. And in this case, this bad boy weighs about 3,450 pounds, but it does make a lot more horsepower. This is my Ford Focus RS. 350 horsepower. Pretty quick for a little hatchback that came out back in 2016. But it's not just a drag car, it's actually a track car, and it's an awesome track car. Right now I have track mode suspension. It's stiff as a hammer, the back of your head, and it's meant to do that. This thing hugs the corners. It's got LSD in the front because it is the limited edition model, torque vector in the back, twin clutch, distributing the power properly. And when you put it into drift mode, this beauty can switch the power to the rear wheels mostly. I think it's about 80% of that goes to the rear wheels, which is quite impressive that it can do that for a vehicle that came out back in 2016. Another thing that I love about this car is the steering. It is so direct. It reminds me a lot of the old classic cars, like, for example, the BMW M3 from 2004, the E36. It reminds me a lot of the E36. It's so direct at the back. You put your foot down on this car and the car responds, but you don't get power at low RPM. Under 3,000 RPM, this car is very gutless. Past that, that's where this thing really wakes up. The brakes are fantastic. We got big brake in the front for the Brembo. Probably one of the only hatchbacks back then that came with that kind of style of Brembo compared to the other ones which had like a single piston, or like, to this day, none of the cars or hatchbacks made within the same price range make 350 horsepower. I think the Integra Type S is probably the second most powerful. Maybe the Golf R, the new one, I haven't driven yet. But this car, it's made to be driven around the track and drag racing because it's all-wheel drive and it puts that power down, as we saw. Amazing. But also around the track, around here, it's such a beauty. Now, here is something that a lot of people don't like about this car that personally doesn't bother me. My wife thinks otherwise. She doesn't like it either as a passenger, but as a driver, she loves it. The ride quality on this car, it's not for everyone. It's very, very stiff. In fact, falling off the stairs, it's a lot softer than this. But I don't really care because this thing is a monster around the track. Before I bought the Focus RS, I was thinking about the Integra Type S. I thought this would be kind of like the perfect vehicle because this car might not be good at drag racing because it is a front-wheel drive, even with the limited slip differential. It's still an amazing car to drive around the track. It's got the perfect weight balance. It's got the perfect power delivery. It doesn't feel as raw as the Focus RS, but when you go around the corner with this, for a front-wheel drive, it actually feels more like an all-wheel drive. It hugs the corner. It has limited slip differential in front, but you don't feel like you're driving a front-wheel drive car. In fact, it feels very much like an all-wheel drive vehicle. Like, look at this, just hugs the corner. Another great thing about this car that I don't really appreciate about the Focus RS some days is the ride. Even though with active damping, this thing has amazing ride. It's comfortable, the seats are comfortable, I'm sitting low. It's a really enjoyable car for day to day. It doesn't feel as powerful as the Focus RS. It doesn't sound as great, but it doesn't sound as bad as the Civic Type R. It actually sounds a lot better. I think they've done a great job with the Integra Type S in terms of the sound overall. It doesn't sound like a racer car. But one thing you gotta appreciate about this car is how it handles as a front-wheel drive vehicle. It also looks great on the outside. It's got rev matching. The gears are fantastic in this car. It's perfect ratio, perfect distance between gears. I love the shifter of this. It's just not as raw and pure as the Focus RS. That I will guarantee you, you're not going to feel the same raw power, the same direct steering that the Focus RS has. You're not gonna have as much fun as the Focus RS, but this one is up there. It's probably one of my second favorite hatchback after the Focus RS. Like, I'd actually take this over the Civic Type R because it's usable daily track. Maybe some drag racing if you can put the power down. There's a bit of that wheel hopping. It does have limited slip differential, so let's see how that's gonna act in this case. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna let go the steering. Brilliant! Usually it would go left or right when you push it. The Subaru WRX TS, short for you can afford an STI. I don't know what to think of this car. Now, for this year, the TS essentially gives you better brakes, suspension tuned by STI. There's also an STI badge on the RPM, which I don't understand why it's there, but I'm assuming that they're saying, here's a quick little taste, and maybe, hopefully, they will be giving us a proper STI because this thing is very underwhelming. It sounds like crap. It costs $47,000. I don't even know what Subaru is doing. The ride is firm. I thought the Focus RS was bad. This thing is up there too. It's jumpy, but that's because in Sport Plus, because it has adjustable suspension system, hence why it has the STI badge. The handling is good. The power is very underwhelming. There's so much weight to this car that it definitely needs 350 horsepower. It's the same weight as the Focus RS, which doesn't help. The brakes are really good, I will admit that. They're sticky. You put your foot down and this thing slows down because it's got bigger brakes in this case, painted in nice gold. The steering, it's okay. It's very daily-like. It gets a little stiffer when you put it in Sport Plus. Now, when you turn off traction, it shows track mode. Could you make it even more powerful? Potentially, but then you run into the issue of blowing up the engine and now you're screwed. The ride in Sport Plus is pretty much like the Focus RS, I must admit. just nicer interior overall to be in, like a large screen. There's a lot of tack in here. It feels like it was designed by someone that really doesn't want to have fun around the track. It's like very digital everywhere, like the digital screen for the cluster as well. A very expensive WRX, let's put it that way. But it could be a good daily for some people who don't really care about what I just said. They just want something that sounds good. Well, actually, that doesn't sound good. This is for people that just want a daily that's got some power, it's fun to drive for day to day, but not around the track. They don't care about that. Or maybe someone that's got money to spare and they can easily get a version of this and then tune it, because stock, it's very underwhelming. That's how I see this car. It's all-wheel drive, which is nice. Okay, can you boys hear me?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. I'm gone, baby. I am gone. That Acura is right beside me the entire time. That was really good.